When I was 12 years old, my family and I moved to a new house. Even though it was a beautiful house, I was scared of it, especially my parents' room. I used to have awful dreams, where I would enter that specific room only to see a dark shadow staring at me. It was a tall shadow. It seemed like a man, but I never saw his face, since his whole being was just pitch black. I would close the door to my room, since my parents' room was in front of mine, and I could easily see their room from my bed. One night I woke up from what seemed like a dreamless sleep feeling that someone was staring at me. At first, I couldn't see anything, but after my eyes got used to the dark, I saw two things. First, my door was open, which wasn't normal, since I closed it at night. And second, there was the shadow I often saw in my nightmares. This time it wasn't in my parents' room. It was in front of my room, just staring at me. I was so scared I couldn't break eye contact with it. And after what seemed like an hours, finally the shadow stopped staring at me and walked to my brother's room. After that, I can't remember when I got back to sleep. I only remember waking up, and since then everything seemed normal. I thought it was only a nightmare, and brushed it off. A couple years later, my family and I moved to another city, but we kept the house as a place to visit during the holidays. One day, my uncle had a nasty fight with his wife, and he asked my parents if he could stay at our old house for some time. My parents said yes, so he temporarily moved there for a while. And one day we visited him for the holidays, and while we were talking he asked me if I had ever seen of creepy shadows in front of my room. My parents laughed, since they knew nothing of what I had seen. I stayed quiet that night. I've talked to my uncle and explained to him what I had seen and what I thought it was a nightmare. I was really scared since I told no one about that nightmare. He listened to me and after a while he explained he had seen the same thing just staring at my room. After that my uncle talked to my parents, and we never visited that house again. My uncle moved back with his wife, and after a religious ceremony of cleansing, my parents put the house in the market. However, to this day the house remains unsold. Even though the shadow never hurt any of us physically, I still panic whenever I remember how that thing stared at me. How I felt that there was nothing that I could do against it.